Hello. I am Ivy.
Hi. I am Amy. Ivy and I are going to introduce to you a simple educational game called the Game of Life. The game is similar to playing a dice-driven board game with 6 stops. At each stop, the player click a dice to determine the financial and physical health luck of an avatar. Each stop represents a period of about 15 years in a person's life. The game simulates the life of an avatar, represented by the player over 6 periods of the avatar's life. During each period, the player will click 3 icons which are like the dice in a board game. Ivy, can you please explain what are the 3 icons?
Yes, Amy. The first icon is the lifestyle icon, which determines the number of health luck points added or deducted from the avatar's health luck account, depending on the avatar's chosen lifestyle. The second icon is the money luck icon, which determines the amount of money the avatar can win or lose, depending on how much the player decides to invest or gamble. There is a probability that the avatar can become a bankrupt if the player invests too much money. The third icon is the health luck icon, which determines the number of health luck points deducted from the avatar's health luck account, depending on the avatar's health luck. There is a probability that the avatar can pass away if the health account falls below 50 points.
Thank you, Ivy, for the explanation. If the avatar gets a series of good lucks over all the 6 periods of the avatar's life, the avatar may be able to live to the ripe old age of 90 years, with reasonably good health and amount of money in the bank account, as shown in the figure above. Ivy, what did you learn from playing the game?
I learned the importance of taking care of my physical and financial health when I am still young. The game simulations help me to understand how I can grow my financial wealth, and also the importance of taking care of my physical health while I am still young. I learned about the Rule 72 principle, which is a simple arithmetic formula that I can use to calculate how fast my invested money or debt can grow. I also learned that due to aging and poor lifestyle, the points in the avatar health account are on a downward trend as the game progresses. Thus, I realized the importance of eating healthy natural foods instead of junk packaged foods, to ensure that I do not lose too many health points in each age period. The game also teaches me to empathize with other people who are less fortunate than me. Just like in real life, our health, ability, talent, the family we are born into, are all the destiny part of our life, and are the randomly generated life statistics of the avatar in the game.
Thank you, Ivy, for your sharing. I am happy that you were able to learn some useful lessons from the game. Most people are quite reckless in their youth and did not bother to take care of their health, or learn some basic financial principles when they are young. They usually regret later in life. By then it's too late, and most people resort to using their money to try to maintain their health. Let us listen to an extracted dialogue from the game, where the avatar Jiro tells Joanna, the guide in the game, what he thinks about life in the future when he is 20 years old.
Joanna, when I am 20 years old, I am unable to appreciate what it means to be living at 36 or 52 years old. For me, the adventure of the game of life is before me, and I am not worried about both my physical and financial health.
Jiro, in real life, you only have one chance to play the game of life. Also, senior citizens will tell you how fast is the real game of life. By playing this game, I hope you will learn some key lessons on how to manage both your physical and financial health. You need to have enough money and health to enjoy the many creative and social aspects and possibilities in the game of life. If you focus on just getting money and do not take care of your physical health, then you may not have the health to enjoy the money you have accumulated at the end of your life.
Amy, that is a good dialogue. It is a good reminder to young people like me, not to take the good health that we have in our youth for granted. By playing the game, I can see that the loss in health points due to poor lifestyle habits in each age period.
Yes, Ivy. That is what most young people don't understand. They do not think in terms of prevention of old age lifestyle-related illness when they are young, but instead think that they can rely on drugs to cure or maintain their damaged body when they are old. I hope that by playing the game, young people can derive from the game simulations the same lessons about financial and physical health that you shared with us just now. Let us now see how the game is played over 3 periods of the avatar's life and see how Joanna reviews the game's statistics and lessons that can be learned from playing the game.
Hi, I am Joanna, your guide. Welcome to the Game of Life. Click yes to play the game.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. And one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages.
Welcome to the world stage, where your avatar will play many parts over 7 ages.
So a sperm meets an egg, and there we have it. Welcome to the loading screen. During the 9 months of loading, you will be given a race, a sex, an environment, and a spot in a developing family tree. The world you're about to enter is endless with millions of branching paths and complex choices. Welcome to your life, the gamified life, episode 1, the basics. This is you, or maybe not exactly you, but nevertheless a player in the game we live in. Each player has stats, things like vitality, strength, agility, intelligence, wisdom, and luck. No game is incomplete without a stat table, so let's start with this one.
Please give the baby a name to see the baby's stats table.
At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms.
Welcome to the world, Jiro. Please see the random statistics for the start of your life. You were born into a professional family and have 20 points in your bank account. Your job type is a professional, and you have average ability in your job. You have average talent and have high passion in whatever you do. You are 14 years old in this period. Your health status is fair and you have 90 health points in your health points account.
And then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face creeping like snail unwillingly to school.
Thank you, Joanna, for welcoming me to the world. I can see that my health status at birth is fair. I can also see that for my assigned career job type and ability level, my salary earning potential is 60 points. I can also see that based on my assigned talent and passion level, my talent earning potential is 15 points. My total earning potential is then 75 points. Since I am still a kid at this stage of my life, my earning capacity multiplier is 0. Thus, my job earnings in this period is 0 points. The total money I have in my bank account in this period is 20 points. Based on 5% interest rate, the compound interest income from the money in my bank account in this period is 40 points. Thus, the updated balance in my bank account is 60 points.
Jiro, what you eat and how you take care of your body, that is your chosen lifestyle, will have an impact on your health. Please click on the lifestyle icon to get your randomly generated lifestyle for this age period.
I can see that my chosen lifestyle is smoking and alcoholism. I can also see that this has an impact of 15% on my health account. Thus, my health account has been updated by 13 points, and the health status updated accordingly.
Jiro, you will now decide on the percent of money in your bank account that you wish to risk or gamble to increase its amount. There is a 10% probability of winning or losing 3 times the amount you are risking. However, the probability of winning 2 times the amount you bet is double that of losing. It is loaded in favor of winning. You may end up a bankrupt, with a negative bank balance, if you risk too much of the money in your bank account. Please enter the percent of the money in your bank account that you wish to bet in this period. 0. Please click the Money Luck icon to see your money luck in this period.
The amount of money that I have chosen to gamble in this period is 24 points. Thus, the updated balance in my bank account, after deducting the amount of gambling money, is 36 points. I can see that my money luck in this period is bad luck. The money luck multiplier on the money that I have gambled is 2 times. Thus, the amount of 48 points have been updated in my bank account below. Oh no, I have gambled and lost. I am now a bankrupt and in debt. I should only gambled with what I can afford to lose.
0. Your health in an age period is decided by a randomly generated health luck factor. Due to aging of the physical body, the average standard health loss in a period is -5 points. However, there is a 30% probability of you having very good luck, and thus you will not lose any health points. There is a 50% probability of average luck, which results in losing just 5 health points. There is a 5% probability of getting an accident and losing 25 health points. Please click the health luck icon to see your health luck in this period.
I can see that my health luck in this period is very good luck. The health luck multiplier on the standard health loss of -5 points is 0 times. Thus, my health loss in this period is 0 points. The updated balance in my health account is 77 points, and the health status updated accordingly.
0. You will now transition to the young adult age period.
And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow.
Thank you, Joanna, for introducing me to this period, where I am now at the beginning of my career. I am a bankrupt in this period, and any potential earnings that I may have in this period will be used to pay off my debt. My bank account will be reset to 0, and I will be able to start earning again in the next period of my life.
0. Remember that your chosen lifestyle in each age period of your life will have an impact on your health, and thus your life. Please click on the lifestyle icon to get your randomly generated lifestyle for this age period.
I can see that my chosen lifestyle for this period is eating junk foods and no exercise. It has an impact of 5% on my health account. Thus, my health account has been updated by 4 points, and the health status updated accordingly.
You are a bankrupt and have been reckless with your money. You should not gamble more than what you may possibly lose, which is 3 times the gambled amount. Even though the probability of winning is loaded in your favor, you should always ensure that the worst-case scenario will not make you a bankrupt.
I am a bankrupt in this period, and have no money to gamble.
0. Please click the health luck icon to see your health luck in this period.
I can see that my health luck in this period is accident and hospitalization. The health luck multiplier on the standard health loss of -5 points is 5 times. Thus, my health loss in this period is 25 points. The updated balance in my health account is 48 points, and the health status updated accordingly. Oh no, my health has deteriorated below the 50 points survival level.
0. I am sorry, your playtime in the world has ended, due to poor health. Your health points has fallen below the minimum 50 points. Please click the play button to be born again, or the review button to see a summary of the game statistics. 0. Welcome back. I hope you will have better health luck this time. Please give the baby a name to see the baby's stats table.
At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms.
Welcome to the world, Jiro. Please see the random statistics for the start of your life. Jiro, you will now transition to your twilight years in the senior citizen age period.
Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Thank you, Joanna, for introducing me to this age period, where I am now in my twilight years.
Jiro, congratulations on finishing the game. You successfully completed all 7 age periods in the game and reached the ripe old age of 83. Let us review the 3 key game statistics and the key lessons that you can learn from playing the game.
Thank you, Joanna. Can you please explain, what are the key lessons that I can get from playing this game?
Jiro, you will notice that the game keeps track of 3 key variables. They are the total age, total money, and total health points. The maximum lifespan in the game is 90 years, if you have at least 100 health points in each of the 7 age periods in the game. Otherwise, the total age is the sum of each of the period age, which is computed from the health points in each age period. To complete the game with a good health status, you cannot lose too many health points in each age period.
Yes, I noticed that my health points, and hence my health status, tends to reduce over time as the game progresses.
Jiro, if you are lucky to be born with good health, your goal in the game of life is to maintain your good health throughout your life. The lesson for the young players of the game is to remember not to take your good health and your youth for granted. You may not be able to complete the game if you lose too many health points by living an unhealthy lifestyle. You will also notice that your total money will increase a lot over your lifespan if you can save and invest your money.
Yes, Joanna. I noticed that the money in my bank account seems to grow very fast as the game progresses. However, when I am reckless with my money, I can become a bankrupt, and I have to start from zero again.
Jiro, the reason and secret for the fast growth of your money is due to the compound interest on the money you have saved. Use the simple Rule 72 principle to remind yourself how fast your savings or debt will grow. If your credit card interest rate is 24% per year, it means that what you owed the bank will double in 3 years. The number of years to double your money is equal to 72 divided by the interest rate. If you have the habit of saving and investing your money will double in 9 years, if the return is 8% per year.
Thank you, Joanna, for sharing with me the Rule 72 principle. I did not know that there is such a simple arithmetic rule to remind myself how to get rich, or become indebted to my bank.
Jiro, as you noticed from the game, you need time for your money to grow. The lesson for young players of this game is to remember to start saving and investing early in your game of life. You need to have the discipline to delay gratification and spending your money on unnecessary things. If you save and invest $1,000 at 9% per year return when you are 20, then by the Rule 72 principle, your $1,000 will become $4,000 when you are 36 and $16,000 when you are 52.
Joanna, when I am 20 years old, I am unable to appreciate what it means to be living at 36 or 52 years old. For me, the adventure of the game of life is before me, and I am not worried about both my physical and financial health.
Jiro, in real life, you only have one chance to play the game of life. Also, senior citizens will tell you how fast is the real game of life. By playing this game, I hope you will learn some key lessons on how to manage both your physical and financial health. You need to have enough money and health to enjoy the many creative and social aspects and possibilities in the game of life. If you focus on just getting money and do not take care of your physical health, then you may not have the health to enjoy the money you have accumulated at the end of your life. Jiro, do you want to go down the rabbit hole to explore some philosophical aspects of this game?
The game review ends with Joanna asking the player to choose whether he or she wants to explore some philosophical aspects of the game. If the player chooses yes, Joanna will welcome the player to explore 3 metaphorical rabbit holes. Ivy, can you explain what are the 3 metaphorical rabbit holes?
Yes, Amy. The first rabbit hole explores using the Matrix movie, red and blue pill analogy, to ask the question, whether we human beings really want the truth. The second rabbit hole explores the stories human beings create to explain the game of life. The third rabbit hole explores a possible story, that we are consciousness playing the game of life in this world, so that we can grow up from our egoistical state to a more aware and conscious state.
Thank you, Ivy, for the explanations. Let us now listen to the philosophical dialogues in the 3 metaphorical rabbit holes.
Jiro, do you want to go down the rabbit hole to explore some philosophical aspects of this game? Jiro, welcome to the rabbit hole. Do we as human beings actually want the truth?
This video analyzes the Matrix film through the lens of Plato's allegory of the cave, while exploring the following question: do we, as human beings, actually want the truth? The Matrix is considered a philosophical film that contains many existing philosophical and religious themes, like prophecy, love, truth, karma, the nature of reality, and living in a simulation.
In the Matrix movie, the protagonist, Neo, has to make a choice, like you just did, to enter this rabbit hole.
So Neo gets offered a choice in the form of 2 pills, a blue one and a red one. If he chooses the blue pill, he remains in his everyday life and believes whatever he wants to believe. But if he chooses the red pill, he'll set foot in the real world and find out what the Matrix truly is. So Neo gets offered a choice in the form of 2 pills, a blue one and a red one. If he chooses the blue pill, he remains in his everyday life and believes whatever he wants to believe. But if he chooses the red pill, he'll set foot in the real world and find out what the Matrix truly is.
Joanna, I can see that this game of life that I just played is a fake reality. It is a computer simulation in a 2-dimensional computer screen, and I am controlling the avatar in the game. I will choose the red pill since I am consciousness, operating the game console, controlling the avatar in the game.
Jiro, I am glad you are not like many people, who prefer to choose the blue pill. They prefer to remain ignorant, and stay unaware of the true reality of their existence.
Many people prefer living in a safe bubble of lies to looking outside for the truth. Living in a cozy false reality can be pretty convenient and comfortable. You just have to remain ignorant of everything that could burst your bubble. So instead, you go along with the deceptive narrative of the herd, often amplified by mass media and entertainment. Some, if not many, are willing to turn a blind eye to the truth, not just for innocent enjoyment, but also out of convenience. For example, someone keeps subscribing to a false belief against one's better judgment just to belong or out of fear of being ostracized. All in all, people seem pretty opportunistic when it comes to the truth. We want a truth, not necessarily the truth. We want a reality, not necessarily the reality. But the truth and the lie often have something in common. They both appear as stories. So could it be that we fundamentally don't want the truth, but a story to believe in, identify with, share with others, dwell on, and, perhaps most importantly, to provide us with a sense of meaning and belonging?
Joanna, I can see the analogy between the 2-dimensional pixelated fake reality and our life as atomized physical being. We may also be living as a computer simulation in a 3-dimensional world, and our conscious self may be controlling us in this game of life from another dimension.
Jiro, your guess about the true reality of our three-dimensional existence has been hypothesized and described by Tom Campbell. Tom describes our world as a virtual reality, and we are supposed to grow up by playing this game of life in this virtual world.
This virtual reality that we live in is a big schoolhouse. It's a place where we come to make these kinds of choices with consequences. That's why we're here. That's why virtual reality means something to everybody. Because if you do that, if you do grow up, if you do become more cooperative, caring, less ego, less belief, less fear, you will find that your life becomes wonderful. You are consciousness, and consciousness is immortal. Well, now that's a big one, right? You are immortal because you are consciousness, and consciousness is immortal. Consciousness doesn't die. The avatar dies. You see, in a virtual reality, your body is a computed avatar.
Joanna, I can see now the importance of connecting to my conscious self by being aware of its presence in my life. We tend to live our life in a dreamlike state without being aware of our consciousness. Only by being aware of our conscious self can we live and make decisions in the game of life from a higher perspective that transcends this lifespan.
Jiro, I am glad that you are able to appreciate the importance of being aware of your conscious self and its value. You connect with your conscious self by spending time alone in meditation. Religious people are doing the same thing when they are taught to pray or meditate on the meaning of their scriptures. The important thing is to set some time each day to remind yourself that you are consciousness, and not the avatar playing the game of life. Tom says that in this virtual reality world schoolhouse, we are co-creators of our reality, through our interpretation of events that happens to us.
In this virtual reality, we are actually co-creators of this reality. And we co-create in many ways. One is just the way we interpret things. Something happens and we have an interpretation of what happens. Other people see the same thing and they have a different interpretation of what happens. That means everybody lives in their own personal reality based on our interpretation. So in that way, you create your own reality through interpretation.
Also, he says that we can influence some events through our intentions, since some of the rules in the game of life has borderline probabilities that can be swayed by our intentions.
Your intent modifies future probability. So what is likely to happen in the future, your intent can make it more likely or less likely. You have that ability to modify future probability.
This may explain why some religious people says that their prayers works, or some people achieves what they envisioned because of their very focused intent. Both groups sway the probabilities of the game of life in their favor through their focused intentions and beliefs. Jiro, do you want to continue further down the rabbit hole? Jiro, so far you have listened to stories about the reality of our existence that are narrated by a philosopher and a scientist. There are also stories that were handed to us by our ancestors to explain the reality of the game of life.
But the truth and the lie often have something in common. They both appear as stories. So could it be that we fundamentally don't want the truth, but a story to believe in, identify with, share with others, dwell on, and, perhaps most importantly, to provide us with a sense of meaning and belonging?
Joanna, what the philosopher says about our need for stories to give us meaning and a sense of belonging is quite true. In our unconscious avatar state, we subscribe to the stories handed down to us by our ancestors. The stories provide us with our sense of identity and belonging.
Shiro, let us listen to the story of the game of life from the Hindu and Buddhist perspectives. Just like in the game you have just played, the randomly generated life statistics of the avatar is its destiny. However, the avatar has the free will to choose its lifestyle, its priorities in the game of life, and how it reacts to the challenges that life presents to it.
I tell you, life is a combination of both free will and destiny. It's karma and karma swatantra. Both are there with you. Like your height is determined, is destiny, but your weight is your free will. Like that, though you have not inherited a huge wealth of the past, but nothing can stop you for dreaming about it and creating it in the future. Your future is in your hands, of course. You can mold it, you can change it, you can turn it. See, karma is not a fatalistic theory. Karma tells you about what you have and what are your possibilities. It keeps open the possibilities in front of you. That's what it is.
Joanna, I can see some similarities between Tom's story about the game of life as a schoolhouse, where we learn and grow up, and the Hindu's view about karma. Both are based on the assumption that the game of life gives us the opportunity to evolve to a higher state of consciousness. I guess in the game of life, there is one quality that the game designer can optimize over multiple lifespans. It is the level of awareness and consciousness that the avatar begins its life in each lifespan. The money and health points are game metrics for a single lifespan and cannot be carried over to the next life.
Shiro, you have made an interesting observation. The challenges presented in the game of life are like lessons that are given to help us raise our level of awareness. The way we react to those challenges will determine whether our awareness levels will increase or decrease. If our reactions and actions are driven by our ego, or made based on a deep attachment to the artifacts in the game of life, they are indicators of a low level of awareness. The Hindu guru says that the day our awareness level reaches the point where we no longer care for the artifacts in the game of life is the day of our liberation.
The day we say, I want nothing, I'm happy, now I'm here, that shift has already happened. Your liberation, freedom has already come to you. Your desires are our bondage, and contentment is our liberation.
Joanna, what about the stories of the game of life that originates from the Middle East? The key idea in those stories is that there is a creator, called God, who created the game of life.
Shiro, the stories about the game of life as a simulated virtual reality, where we are supposed to evolve to a higher state of consciousness, do not deny the existence of a creator God. The fact that there is a design and scientific rules governing the creation and interactions of all the artifacts in our three-dimensional game world logically points to a designer. That designer, which we called God, must exist in a different dimension, just like our consciousness. Please see OpenAI ChatGPT reply to my query on this topic. Shiro, do you want to complete this exploration of rabbit holes with a look at the final one? Shiro, I hope your curiosity to explore the preceding rabbit holes have helped to broaden your perspectives on the game of life. Tom has highlighted earlier that the game of life is like a big schoolhouse, for us to learn to become less driven by our ego and fears. We are supposed to grow up by being more aware and connected to our consciousness when we make decisions in facing the challenges in the game of life.
This virtual reality that we live in is a big schoolhouse. It's a place where we come to make these kinds of choices with consequences. That's why we're here. That's why virtual reality means something to everybody. Because if you do that, if you do grow up, if you do become more cooperative, caring, less ego, less belief, less fear, you will find that your life becomes wonderful.
When we are connected with our consciousness or awareness, our views of the world will be less biased by our egoistic mind. This will help us make better decisions in the game of life. You can learn more about how to connect with your consciousness from the video link below. The following is a short audio clip of the opening dialogue from the video.
Kevin and Ivy. We learned in Part 3A 2 basic principles about the reality of our lives. In the first principle, we clarified our view of the reality of our true nature. We learned that all of us are born with a hidden consciousness or awareness within us. We are not aware of the presence of this awareness, and thus, live our lives in a deluded state created by our egoistic mind. We learned in the second principle that through meditation, we are able to grow out of the confines of our egoistic mind, and connect with this awareness. When we are connected to awareness, our view of the reality of the present moment will be less biased by our egoistic mind, since awareness will be present in the background to prevent the egoistic mind from running wild.
Jiro, thank you for playing the game. Please share and play the game with your young and old friends. It is more fun if you play the game with players of different age groups. The game provides opportunities for older players to share their real-life experiences and wisdom with the younger players. You can see the game block codes by creating an account at the Scratch website, and you can use the game as a template to create your own version of the game. Please share your experience playing the game in the comments section. Thank you.
We have just explained what is the game of life and its educational objectives. We shall now discuss 3 possible social scenarios where the game can be used as a social tool to engage the players to discuss and share real-life experiences. The first scenario shows how an adult can use the game to engage a young person in a discussion about the possible future scenarios of the young person's life, and use the events in the game as triggers for the sharing of advice and experiences from their personal life for the benefits of the young person. The second scenario shows how a young person can use the game to engage an older person whom they respect and wish to get him or her to share the wisdom they have gathered from having lived life. Ivy, can you please share the third scenario?
Yes, Amy. The third scenario shows how a group of friends can have fun playing the game, like a typical dice-driven board or card game, and then sharing the life experiences of their respective avatar, as the game progresses. The events in the game can provide triggers for the sharing of the players' personal life experiences with each other.
Daddy, I had just watched a short video about the very serious negative impacts of social media on the minds of people. The video highlights the negative effects of the constant exposure to social media, which distracts and fragments a person's mind. I wonder what I need to do to stay focused on the important things in life, and avoid making the mistakes that older people say they regret later in life.
Justin, I am happy to know that you are thinking about your future, and is worried about the negative impacts of too much social media distractions. I know of an educational game that we can play and learn together. It is called the Game of Life. We can discuss during the game the important things in life that you need to focus on doing. You can also learn from some of my own life experiences. Stephen, what interesting things have you been doing lately?
Brian, a friend of mine recently introduced me to an interesting game. The game simulates the financial and physical health of an avatar over 6 15-year periods of the avatar's life. It concludes with a review of the game's statistics and lessons that can be learned from playing the game. The game also offers the player 3 options to explore some philosophical aspects of life. I wonder whether you can spare some time to play the game together with me and share some of the valuable lessons that you have acquired from having lived the periods of the life that I have not lived yet.
That sounds like an interesting game. Sure, I will be happy to play the game with you and share some of my life experiences with you.
Stephen, what luck do you have for your avatar's life statistics? Mine starts life in an office worker family, with no talent, low ability, average health and job type as a laborer.
Oh, mine is born into a laborer family. However, it has excellent health, good talent and high ability, and has a job type as an entrepreneur. What about your avatar, Emma?
My avatar is born into a professional family but has a job type as an office worker. It has average ability, average talent and also average health.
Mine is born into an entrepreneur family but with poor health. It has excellent talent, super ability and has a job type as a professional.
Matthew, it looks like your avatar will not be able to make it through the 6 periods of playtime. You have to be ready to be born again.
Yes, Ruth. That is the random factor in the game of life. We do not know what kind of luck we will be given at birth. We just have to play the best we can with whatever life statistics we have been given. This game helps us appreciate the good luck we have, especially the good health given to us when we were born, and also help us empathize with those less fortunate than us.
Stephen, you were reckless with your money in the last game. You got bankrupted twice in a single game. You should be careful this time. Play safe and invest not more than 25% of whatever you have in your bank account, and you will never be made a bankrupt, since the maximum you can lose is 3 times what you bet.
That is the fun of playing this game. Since the game is loaded in favor of winning, I prefer to take the risk of betting more rather than play it safe. It is either I win big or lose big. My avatar is just mimicking me.
Yes, Emma. Slow and steady. We let compound interest do the work of growing our money. Our avatar may not be the richest at the end of the game, but we can be sure that there will not be any loss of earnings in any period due to bankruptcy.
This is a game of chance, except for the gambling or investing part. I prefer to test my betting skills. I think it is okay to bet 50% in the earlier periods to get more money and bet 25% later when I have acquired some additional capital.
Let us set the criteria for playing and winning the game. I propose that each player can only have one chance to be born again. The winner of the game is the one that completes all 6 periods of the game with the highest amount of money in the bank account, since that is the only variable which the player's decision can affect the outcome of the play. The others are based on random chance.
I agree. Okay, I propose $5 per player to be collected as the prize for the winner.
I agree with Emma's proposal. I hope I win this time. The last time Matthew was the lucky winner.
Ivy, can you please explain how the game was created?
Yes, Amy. The game was created using the Scratch program developed by the MIT Media Lab and publicly launched in 2007. The program is a high-level block-based visual programming language, aimed primarily at children as an educational tool, with a target audience of ages 8 to 16. The game can be seen as an example of a technological science project work, completed by Kevin and I, as part of our project-based, micro-school learning at the proposed Peconaqri Academy. Kevin and I have already completed a study on the game theme, All the World is a Stage for the Game of Life. You can see the discussions that Kevin and I had with Joanna, our mentor at the Academy, with the given video link.
Thank you, Ivy. Can you please explain the process, how Kevin and you choose to do the project?
Yes, Amy. At the Peconaqri Academy, we subscribe to the motto, that learning begins with a question, followed by in-depth study and work on a project. We use the Peconaq Learning Map as our guide in the selection of the types of projects that we do. The map categorizes everything in the world that we may be interested to study, into 3 entities. They are ourselves, as an individual person, the human community, and nature that surround us. The map allows us to organize our self-directed study of subjects and projects into 18 projects types, represented as 18 boxes in the map shown in the figure.
Please explain how Kevin and you selected the Scratch project to do?
Yes, Amy. Kevin and I are curious to know about computer programming. In our discussion with Joanna, our mentor, she suggested that we learn the Scratch program and complete a project by following the 4-step hero's journey process that is recommended by the Academy.
Thank you, Ivy. Let us now see a video extract from a free online course offered by Harvard University that introduces the Scratch program to beginners like Kevin and you. After that, I would like you to give a brief description of the game code, before we end with a discussion of the 4-step hero's journey process.
Welcome everyone to an introduction to programming with Scratch. My name is Brian Yu, and in this course we're going to be exploring Scratch, which is a visual block-based programming language developed by the team over at MIT's Media Lab. Using Scratch, by putting together little Scratch puzzle pieces that we'll see shortly, you'll be able to build visual stories and animations and games and other programs that you'll be able to share with others. And along the way, as we're exploring Scratch, you'll be introduced to the fundamentals of programming. We'll take a look at concepts like functions and loops and conditions and variables and other types of ideas that you'll see in programming. And even though the Scratch programming language looks a little bit different, it uses blocks instead of the more traditional text-based programming that you might see in other programming languages later, really Scratch is based on the same fundamental ideas, and it's going to use the same principles of computational thinking. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at Scratch and dive in to our very first Scratch project. So once you go to Scratch's website, when you click on the Create button to create a new project, you'll end up seeing an interface that looks like this. And we'll be exploring this interface during this course, but it's broken down into a couple of parts. Over here on the left-hand side is our block library. You're going to build Scratch projects ultimately by putting together blocks in some sequence in order to get the project to do something that you would like for it to do. And you can assemble those blocks together from the block library, bringing them into this middle part of the Scratch window, which is the block editor, where you're going to put these blocks together to decide how it is that your project should work. But before we even get to those blocks and how they work and how to put them together, today we're going to be mostly focusing on this part of the Scratch window. This rectangle you see here is what Scratch calls the stage, and it's inside of the stage that our Scratch projects will live and ultimately run, and this is when someone runs your Scratch project, what that person is ultimately going to see. We see that right now, in the Scratch stage, we just have one character, this default Scratch cat here, and each of these characters, Scratch calls a sprite. A sprite in the world of Scratch is just some object. It could be a character like an animal, or it could be some other object that lives somewhere on the stage, and ultimately, we're going to learn to have the ability to program these sprites to do what we would like for it to do. Welcome back, everyone, to now our final class in this introduction to programming with Scratch. And at this point, we've seen most of the major features that Scratch has to offer. So today, in this final class, what we thought we'd do is show you a few additional features that you might find useful as you go about building your own projects, and then show you how you could put the pieces together, so to speak, and use all of the tools and the ideas that we've explored during this course to see how you could put them together to create a complete game using Scratch. So let's go ahead and begin by taking a look at a couple final features of Scratch to introduce. And the first involves how it is that sprites communicate with each other. You might recall that in an earlier project, we had a cat talking to a dinosaur, for example. And how we did that was something like this. I had a cat, and then I added the dinosaur, which I'll go ahead and find and bring back. I wanted the cat and the dinosaur to be facing each other. So I took the dinosaur, I set its rotation to left-right, and then set its direction to -90, so it was facing the other way. And if I wanted the cat and the dinosaur to greet each other, then I would have the cat, when the flag is clicked, do something like say hello to the dinosaur. And then likewise for the dinosaur, if I want the dinosaur to respond to the cat saying hello, well, the cat is saying hello dinosaur for 2 seconds, so the dinosaur better wait 2 seconds before it responds. So the dinosaur, I did something like this. I said, when the flag is clicked, let's go under control. Let's wait 2 seconds, and then say hello to the cat. So now when I run the project, the cat says hello dinosaur, and immediately after, the dinosaur says hello cat. What if I later wanted to make a change? I want the cat to only say hello dinosaur for maybe 1 second, for example. Well, now the cat speaks, and I have this weird pause before the dinosaur responds because I forgot to change how long the dinosaur was waiting. I'd also have to change that from 2 to 1 in order to get it to respond appropriately. Ultimately, this is going to start to get more complex, especially as there are more interactions between these two sprites, or if later I add other sprites altogether, for me to have to calculate exactly how long every sprite should be waiting in between one thing happening and another thing happening. What would be better is if the cat, when it was done speaking, could somehow signal to the dinosaur that it's now the dinosaur's turn to start speaking. That way I, the programmer, don't have to do all this math of figuring out exactly how long these sprites should be waiting. And so this brings us to one of our final topics in Scratch, which is called broadcasting. Broadcasting is the ability for one object in Scratch, one sprite, for example, to send some message that other sprites, like the dinosaur in this case, could receive. So we have the ability to send or broadcast messages, and then we have the ability for other sprites to receive those messages. When they receive a message, those sprites are going to respond in some way. So what would that look like? How could we broadcast a message from the cat to the dinosaur so that the dinosaur knows that it's time to greet the cat? Let's go back to the cat. And after the cat says hello dinosaur for, let's go back to 2 seconds, then under events, I'm going to use this broadcast block to broadcast a message, and I'm going to choose a new message from the dropdown, and I can just name this message. This is any message that I'm now going to send, and I'm going to call the message greet, just because it's going to be a message that signals to the dinosaur that it's time to greet the cat. So the cat says hello dinosaur, and then broadcasts greet, and the dinosaur now, instead of saying hello cat when the flag is clicked, I'm going to get rid of the when flag is clicked event entirely and replace it with this event here, when I receive greet. So the cat is first going to say hello dinosaur for 2 seconds and then broadcast this message. The message is greet, and then the dinosaur, when it receives the greet message, is then going to say hello to the cat. And so now the cat says hello dinosaur, and immediately the dinosaur responds, hello cat. The cat broadcasted a message, and the dinosaur received it. And now it doesn't matter if there's a delay. I could add a delay of a second to the cat, and so the cat will now wait a second before speaking, but the dinosaur still responds right on cue. I didn't have to change any of the timing because the cat broadcasted a message once the cat was done doing whatever it was doing, and the dinosaur was then able to respond. So this works great for stories where you have multiple sprites and they're interacting in some way, and you want some sprite to signal to someone else when it's their turn to say something or do something, for example.
Let us see how the code blocks in the game looks like. We can see that each sprite icon has its own set of code. This is an extract of the game code for the Start Game sprite icon, which has been selected. Ivy, can you please describe how the code blocks are organized in the game?
Yes, Amy. The game code has a series of assembled blocks with numbered comments, starting with the first one, as shown here. This is the code blocks for the Joanna sprite. You can see that the A3 comment follows from the A1 and A2 comments in the Start Game sprite. These comments will help anyone who copies the code as a template to follow the logic of the program. The A4 comment is in the Avatar sprite, which will be followed by the A5 comment in the Joanna sprite as shown here. This is the code blocks for the Avatar sprite. You can see the A4 comment in this block.
Thank you, Ivy, for your explanation on how to follow the logic of the game code from the series of comments that have been included in the code. We shall see a video of me explaining the 4-step hero's journey process that was extracted from the Peconaqri Academy video that is shown here, after Ivy and I have described briefly what are the 4 phases in the hero's journey. Ivy, please describe the first 3 phases of the hero's journey.
Yes, Amy. The 4-step hero's journey process is a good summary of the 4 phases that Kevin and I take every time we do a project. The process always starts with our curiosity about something, in one of the 18 boxes in the Peconaqri learning map. This will be followed by the call to adventure, when we commit ourselves to a program of study of the required subject matter in the bootcamp, second phase. Our completion of the Harvard University online Scratch programming course is in this phase. The third phase is the challenging phase of applying the knowledge that we have acquired in the bootcamp phase to do a complete project like the Game of Life. In this way, we will be able to have a good understanding of the subjects that we have studied in the bootcamp phase.
Thank you, Ivy. The last phase is where you get rewarded for your efforts, when you know that you have grown as a person, and now have the confidence to apply your newfound knowledge. Alex, I will now explain to you how we developed the basic template structure for our courses, using Joseph Campbell's monomyth story of a hero's journey. In his study of myths from all over the world, Joseph Campbell discovered that there is a common template of stories that involves a hero who goes on an adventure, is victorious in a decisive crisis, and comes home changed or transformed. He called this monomyth the hero's journey. Dan Harmon has simplified the hero's journey into an 8-step story circle, with the 4 steps in the top half representing the hero's ordinary world, where the hero starts and finishes the journey. The bottom half represents the unknown, adventure world where the hero has to struggle and overcome challenges, and in the process grow and change. Since our students are also heroes on a quest to find answers to their questions, we can use Dan Harmon's story circle of the hero's journey as the basic structure for all the courses on the platform.
Amy, Dan Harmon's story circle captures clearly the 4 stages of the learning adventure that our student hero has to go through. Every course that our student hero completes is one learning adventure journey completed. Every completed adventure will see our student hero grow in knowledge and in ability to apply their newly acquired knowledge. I like the story structure of the hero's journey and how it applies to our student hero's learning adventure.
The student's learning adventure course can be divided into 4 phases as represented by 4 quadrants. The first quadrant represents the start of the journey. Our student hero starts with a question that lies within one of the 18 themes in the Peconaqri learning framework, review their personal learning map, and decides which adventure course they want to take. Our hero has to decide on whether to proceed with the course. This is the call to adventure stage in the hero's journey. Once the student has enrolled and embarked on the adventure course, the student enters into the second quadrant, which is the bootcamp stage of preparation for the hero's journey into the unknown in the third quadrant. This is part 1 of the course, where the student hero will acquire the knowledge that they need to apply in their project in the third quadrant stage. The student will be mentored through a series of curated videos and learning resources that the course mentor has chosen for the course. At the end of the second quadrant stage, the student will take a test or exam before deciding whether they want to proceed to part 2 of the course. The student may lose interest in the course subject after they have gone through the bootcamp training and decide not to proceed to the project stage in the third quadrant.
See that part 1 of the course has assumed that the formal teaching of the new subject matters to our student hero are done through curated teaching videos selected by the course mentor.
Yes, Alex. There is now abundant excellent teaching and learning resources in the internet. Our course mentors can save themselves a lot of time and headaches by selecting the best teaching videos from the internet that can help them achieve their learning objectives for their students. There is no need to create teaching videos for their students unless they like to do it and have a personal YouTube channel that they are trying to monetize on the internet. If the student decides to proceed to the project stage, the student has to decide on the project topic and design, in consultation with their mentor coach in the third phase. The student will then do the project and overcome all the challenges of the unknown during the project. They will then complete the project and do a presentation and report to finish in the fourth quadrant and get the full course certificate award. The student that successfully completes part 1 of the course will also get a certificate for completing part 1. The 2 learning phases of growth in knowledge and change in our student hero as they apply their knowledge to complete their project is represented by the 2 bottom quadrants.
That is a nice story, Amy. Can you please present an overview of how our student hero enters into the game world and completes their multiple heroes' journey to arrive at their final destination in their learning map?
Alex, this diagram shows how the different parts of the platform are related to each other. The students are enrolled in a homeschool or micro school, which is their home base in the real world. They will join a school in the game world. The school is a virtual organization of the homeschools and micro schools in a local community. The students can choose to join the learning guilds that provide mentoring in the courses that they are interested. The students choose their learning adventure journeys from the list of thematic courses on the platform. The courses are categorized under the 9 project themes and 18 project types, as shown in the Peconaqri learning map. Each of the project type has a specific icon associated with it.
Amy, thank you for the nice overview diagram and presentation. I have learned a lot about how the Peconaqri Academy platform works.